Hello and welcome back, my anxious parents. Today we're going to be talking about raising teenage son versus a teenage daughter. I know how to do it. I have both and it's a struggle, so stay tuned. You're going to enjoy this. At the end of the video, I'm going to reveal number one hack that I use when I want to make sure that my children travel with me or attend some kind of a birthday party. So stay tuned and let's start. Puberty is one aspect of adolescence. Children are in process of physical changes. There's a lot of things going on. They get moody, they get anxious, they don't want to do certain things, they don't want to go with you as much as they used to. So make sure number one rule that I always go by is I educate my children. I know we all think that the school system is educating them enough and they don't need our input per se. But I really do go by that rule because no matter how educated you think they are, what you know, because as an adult you already went through that, they don't know it yet. So you can always relate to them. You can always tell them, explain to them what exactly they're going through, how this is going to pass, how this is not going to last for more than 2 to 3 years, how they can improve their state of mind, state of being in general to make them feel easier, the whole struggle of going through adolescence. So educate them. Educate yourself if you are not in the position to maybe relieve some of your information to them. Another rule that I follow is I communicate with my teens. It's really an amazing thing, and you can reach some really extremely positive benefits from communicating, from asking questions, from listening to their answer, and it has numerous positive benefits. It increases the use of contraception because you are gonna tell to your teens how to do it and how to use contraception, and it improves their mental health because they know that they have someone to talk to. That's besides therapy, that if they do need it, I'm gonna make a separate video about that. You should definitely enroll your children into therapy sessions. I find that with the teen boys, it's much easier to interact because my teenager, my son, he wouldn't initiate the conversation, but when he will, he gets straight to the point. So he's a very straight up boy. When it comes to my daughter, I would have to initiate the conversation, but it would take a little while to get to a certain point or to actually reveal certain information that she needs to share with me. So make sure you have patience because each and one of their characters is different, so you cannot generalize it. So when you are having difficulties talking to whether your son or whether your daughter, try to reverse that approach. See, maybe your daughter wants to be pushed a little bit into a conversation, and your son wants to be left alone and not to be pushed into a conversation. So whatever works for them, I'm just telling you from my personal experience, this is what works for me. Most of the time, I push my teenagers into having a conversation. I barge into their room. Well, I don't barge, I knock. But still, I disrupt whatever they're doing and I try to get them to talk to me. Let your children take healthy risks. I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to give them that self-confidence, to give them that freedom to actually do certain things with a little bit of risk involved. So my daughter the other day, she decided that she wanted to go downtown into the city. I'm in Toronto with her friends. So that included her taking the bus to get to the subway, from the subway to get on a different streetcar in the city to reach whatever they were going. I think they were going to a museum. So I let her do that because number one, she's not alone. Number two, it teaches her how to navigate the city she is born in and the city she is living in, which is a huge thing that I know if anything comes up or she's somewhere on the other side of the city or she starts high school this year and she needs to take the bus home, I know that she's comfortable and confident to just go on the bus station, buy a ticket, get on the bus and get home. So a certain amount of healthy risks is good for your children. With my son, on the other hand, he decided to get a job, and whatever he decides to do certain things on his own, I always encourage him. I always make sure that he's kind of comfortable and confident that, oh, mom is gonna approve of that. And let's be honest, getting a job as a teenager is fun. So he decided that he wants to work at a store not too far from us. Well, he's gonna need to either take the bus or walk. He decided to walk. His hours are a little bit late in the night, but I let him take that walk back home because I have confidence and I trust my son that he knows how to navigate through our neighborhood. He knows how to get home. He knows how to feel safe in a certain environment. So trust your children. They really do need that sense of security that their parents trust them to take certain healthy risks. Another thing that I do is I involve them in my decision making. It doesn't matter how small of a decision it is. Your teenagers, they're independent and they might not like it when you don't involve them in certain decisions. So if I decide, for example, this weekend I decided that I want to go to the cottage where my parents are, which is going to be at least 4 days because it's a long weekend. So I am giving options to my children. Do you want to stay at home for 2 days and go and spend 2 days with your father? Or do you want to come with me for 4 days and be at the cottage? So whenever it involves their time and the free time that they get from school, from anything, I make sure that they are taking this decision and they actually want to be where they want to be, because let's be honest, they get tired of us and we get tired of them. It goes both ways. So if you are in a position and you know and you trust your teens, which you should by now, if you raise them right, you should trust them, then let them take that advantage. Let them stay at home by themselves. Let them have some friends over, because you do have confidence into them being a good host, into them taking care of the house, into them being smart into who they let into the house. I do trust my teens fully, and I believe that you should too. Talk to your teenagers about sex. I know it can be a bit of a not too comfortable topic. Parents are usually very inhibited when it comes to this, but your teens, because they are raised in this day and age, they're much more open about their sexuality, about what they want, about what they don't want. So make sure you get on tune with them and you are actually on the same level and you understand them. So with my son, when I give him advice, I usually tell him that a no is a no, and that always make sure that you are being considerate of your partner, of whoever you are going to be in a relationship with. Make sure you are considerate of other people's feelings. So I'm usually giving him advice from my experience with men from previous relationships. He's usually very good at listening. I find that for some reason teenage boys, at least my teenage boy, is a bit more respectful when it comes to listening. With my daughter, she's a bit more inhibited, she's a bit more closed up, but again, I'm always asking her, and very straight up, because if I'm gonna be shy about the topic, then she's gonna be shy about answering some of my questions. So I'm usually very open with her and I'm asking her, do you feel like you should tell me something? Do you feel like you already want to have a sexual relationship with someone? Do you feel attracted to someone? How does this person makes you feel? You know, you can always say no. Don't ever think that there's no other choice. And if she did get into some kind of argument or unpleasant situation, I'm always asking her, think of it that way. What you could have done different in a certain situation. So there's never, oh my God, what did you do? No, because otherwise she's just gonna close up and never tell me anything about what goes on in her life. So be open with your teenagers and have the talk as early as possible. The moment that you see that they're being curious about certain things, that they're getting shy about certain things, that they don't like when you go into the bathroom, when they're taking a shower. Once they get over that period that they are already more clear about their sexuality, have the talk. Don't be shy. They need you. They need your advice. They need your expertise. They need your parenting. They need your support. So support them in those early stages. Give your teenagers their privacy. They deserve it. They're adults, well, half adults, like you are, so they do need that privacy. You don't need to know what they do every minute and every second of the day. Trust them in their decisions. Trust them in what they're doing during the day. Don't go always into don't micromanagement. That's what I mean. Don't go into small details and ask them about every little thing that was done. You don't need to know who they talk to and what they talk about. Just like when you were growing up, just try to remember yourself when you were a teenager. How annoyed did you feel when someone was trying to impose on your privacy, whether it's in your room, whether it's I don't know, going through your things. My daughter, not up until this day, just recently, I was always helping her tidy up her room. But now she's annoyed when she's at school and I try to like rearrange some of the things in her room. When she's back, she's like, Mom, did you go to my room? I usually say I didn't, but I see that she doesn't like when someone goes through her things, which is a normal thing. Same thing with my son. He's a bit more cold when it comes to that topic. He doesn't care much. As long as his room is clean, who cares who cleans it? But my daughter is very specific. So make sure you approach your teens based on their character, based on how they react to your invasion. So don't invade into their space. Give them that space, give them that privacy, even when you have to knock on their door or you have to ask for their permission to check onto something. I think they do deserve it, and it's gonna improve your relationship overall because they're gonna feel respected. Teen relationships. Get to know their friends. Get to know who your teens are hanging out with. I know most of my teens' friends. They're always welcomed into my house, so I don't make them feel that they need to stay in her room or in my son's room. Whenever they're in the house, I always invite them to the table just to make sure that they understand that my daughter or my son is a package deal, that we function as a family and we come as a family, so they don't feel like they are a separate entity or my son is a separate entity. We are all together. So I make sure that I make them feel welcomed. I make them a meal. I hang out with them. We can watch a movie together. We can talk together. First of all, makes your teen feel much more relaxed because let's face it, we all need our parents' approval, and even when after their friends leave, they would always ask me, Mom, how did you like this friend or how did you like that friend? Because they do value my opinion and they do value an opinion of a parent, of a grown-up, of someone who raised them, who taught them certain things. So make sure you get involved up to a certain degree into your teen's life and you know who they are hanging out with, who are their friends, who are they going with to certain places. Same thing applies to my son. When his friends come over, they're like little men and they're like loud and they a little bit obnoxious, but to like a good thing, not like extremely badly. They always come upstairs because these are the boys that I've known for years. I cannot emphasize enough. I make sure they feel welcomed. I make sure they can have a snack at our house. I make sure they are comfortable. I make sure they can even have a sleepover here and there. Even if they're loud, I don't interfere with whatever they're doing. So whoever your teens are surrounding themselves with, it's very important for their future development. It's important who they're gonna surround themselves when they are gonna grow up a bit older. So don't feel uncomfortable or don't be unwelcoming. Be welcoming. Nothing's gonna happen if you're gonna cook an extra meal and feed a couple of teenagers. It's gonna do you good in the long run and your teens are gonna appreciate it. So thank you for staying. Thank you for watching. I hope you're gonna pick up some of the hacks, tips that I went over in this video. But here's my number one hack that I use with my teens, which is extremely helpful to me, and maybe you can take advantage of it too. So when it comes to going somewhere, and I know my teens don't want to join me, what I do is I'm telling them that it's already paid for. So basically what I do, like we had a birthday party the other week and my teens were kind of, we don't feel like going, and I'm like, you know what guys, I already paid, I'm sorry, I thought you're gonna be excited to go. Why don't you just come, have a meal, and you can just, I don't know, hang out for 5 minutes and I can get you an Uber and you can leave. Well, let me tell you, they ended up staying, having fun, dancing and eating. So don't be afraid to use a little bit of manipulation here and there, very slightly. You need to push them a little bit towards certain experiences that they are going to be grateful for afterwards. Same thing when it comes to travel. So when I book any kind of tickets, I just tell them, oh, you know guys, there was like a huge sale and I bought 3 tickets and I don't think I can return them. Like I think we need to go on this vacation. And my son like starts, oh, but I want to hang out with my friends. My daughter, she's usually up for traveling. So I tell them like, okay, well, I'll try to return them, but if I can't, we're gonna have to go, you guys. So I give them like another day or two. I pretend to call the company and then I tell them, you know what, it's either we're gonna go or we're gonna lose the tickets. So it's up to you guys. And and we end up going and we end up having a great time, which just proves a point that at certain point you need to push your teens towards a desired outcome, towards a new experience. There is, I don't find it to be guilting them into this. I think that this is a healthy way of dealing with your teens to some degree. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned. My next video is going to be about what I learned in the therapy in the last year. Thank you and have a good day.